Hi friends, it's Miss Brenda. Now, I wanted to share with you all a really fun story. It's an adventure and mystery. Okay, let me make myself a little smaller. Now let's go ahead and get started. The book is titled It Came from Outer Space by Henry Barker, and it's illustrated by Barry Gott. Now, have any of you guys ever been camping in the outdoors or maybe in your backyard? Because that's what this story is about. It's about three friends who are going to be camping in their backyard and they come across a mystery. So let's go ahead and find out how it all begins. Sleep tight, boys. Don't let the tent bugs bite, called Marlon's father. As soon as Marlon heard the back door slam, he unzipped his sleeping bag and crawled out of the tent. His friends Albert and Steve followed him. They were sleeping over. "It's dark out here," whispered Steve. A rustling noise came from the trees, and he yelped, "What's that?" "Probably a squirrel," said Marlon, flopping down on the grass. Steve peered around nervously. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Are you sure?" he asked. "We can't be sure without investigating further," said Albert. "I could get my flashlight. It's extremely powerful." "We don't need a flashlight," said Marlon. He pointed. "We have the moon." "There is Orion, the hunter," said Albert. "That's my favorite constellation." They were all looking at the stars when a blaze of light, big, round, and as bright as fireworks, appeared suddenly in the sky. Albert's mouth fell open. Marlon jumped to his feet, and Steve ducked. The ball of light came closer, as if it were heading straight for them. "It's attacking!" yelled Steve, covering his head with his arms. "It's moving through our atmosphere at great speed," said Albert. "It could be a meteor." "It's crashing," said Marlon, as the ball of light disappeared into the trees. "What if it's a spaceship from another galaxy?" He pulled on his shoes. "Let's go find it," he said. "It might need our help." So, do you guys think it's an alien or a meteor or a spaceship? Let's find out. "No," protested Steve. "We'll get lost. Let's go tomorrow." Albert shrugged. "It's probably burned up. Most meteorites do. If it did land, it will have a fusion crust, a black coating." "So we'd never find it in the dark," Steve said quickly. "It would be hard, even with my flashlight," said Albert. "I guess we can go in the morning," said Marlon. So here we have our friends using their imagination. One of them just thinks it's a meteorite and the other one thinks it's aliens. What do you guys think? That night, they all had dreams with happy endings. Steve always felt brave when he was asleep. The next morning, the three boys wolfed down their pancakes. "You're in a big hurry," said Marlon's mother. "We want to explore a little," Marlon said. "Don't go past the creek," said Marlon's father. "And be back by lunchtime," said his mother. "Why don't you guys go without me?" asked Steve, when they got to the edge of the woods. "It looks awfully spooky in there." "I've been in these woods billions of times," said Marlon. "They're totally safe." What if we find something from space?" said Albert. "You want to be there, don't you?" "I guess so," said Steve. So we have our friend Steve, and it seems like he's a little afraid to go into the woods and explore. Would you guys be afraid like Steve, or would you guys be a little bit more brave like Marlon or Albert? The friends walked and walked. Albert found some interesting rocks, but they weren't meteorites. Steve thought he heard a gorilla, but it was only a chipmunk. And Marlon spotted a deer, and a fawn, but no aliens. Then suddenly, there was a loud crack of thunder. Steve jumped. The sky turned dark and rain began to fall. "Follow me," said Marlon. "There's a cave near the creek." "Come on in," Marlon called. "It's dry in here." It's dark in there," said Steve. "Not with this," said Albert. He pulled his flashlight from Steve's backpack. "Hope the batteries don't run out," Steve said. "Wouldn't it be great if we really found aliens?" said Marlon. "It would be great if we found anything from outer space," said Albert. "It would be great if the rain stopped," said Steve. "I'm soaked and I'm very prone to colds." Before long, the rain did stop. "Don't we have to be back soon?" asked Steve. "I'm getting hungry." Marlon nodded. "We can take a different way home. That way we can look some more." "Great," said Albert. They started walking. With every step, Marlon and Albert looked hopefully at the ground. Steve was more interested in the sky. It was turning dark again. And so here we have our three friends alone with their thoughts. Marlon's thinking to himself, "Aliens, where are you?" Meanwhile, Albert is thinking to himself, "Meteorites, where are you?" And poor Steve back here is thinking to himself, "It's creepy here." Would you be more like Marlon, trying to look for aliens? Or Albert, being more scientific and looking for meteorites? Or would you be worried and concerned like Steve? Suddenly, Marlon and Albert heard a shout from Steve. "Look!" he yelled. He was pointing at a big tree. "The branches are all twisted and broken and black." Albert focused his binoculars. "Something's caught up there," he said, "but I can't tell what it is." "Let's find out," Marlon said. "Give me a boost." Steve and Albert helped him up. He grabbed a branch and started climbing. A minute later, he was halfway up the tree. Something came hurtling down out of the branches. "Yikes!" Steve ducked as it landed at his feet. "Look at the surface. It's all coated and blackened," said Albert. "It even smelled burnt." "Is that a fusion crust?" asked Steve. "Maybe," said Albert, "but this is definitely not a meteorite." "Well, it's not an alien either," said Marlon. "Maybe it's a piece of space debris," said Albert. "There's a lot floating around, but it usually burns up before it hits Earth. We call it NASA. We could call NASA." "I know what it is, a nozzle from a rocket." Marlon pointed to his t-shirt. "The fiery gases shoot right through here. That's what makes a rocket go up." "You mean it really did come from outer space?" asked Steve. Albert nodded. "Cool," said Steve. "Let's go home and call NASA," said Marlon. "I can't believe we really found this," said Marlon. "It's awesome." "It is awesome," said Steve. "And you were right about something else, guys." "What?" asked Albert and Marlon. Steve took another bite. Steve took another slice of pizza. "I am glad I came along." So why do you guys think Steve ended up enjoying going on that adventure with Marlon and Albert? Do you think it was because he got to eat pizza at the end of the day? I think it was because he was able to learn something new and be a little bit more brave and bold with his friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed that story, and there's more to come. Bye, guys.